So welcome to the webinar, Windows 11 and Accessibility for the Assistive Technologist. This webinar is hosted by the Network of Assistive Technologists on this Friday, the 3rd of December, 2021. And a special thank you to everyone for participating in this webinar and for making it part of your 2021 United Nations International Day of Persons with Disabilities celebrations. So in the words of the UN Secretary General, on this International Day, let us reaffirm our commitment to work together for a better world that is inclusive, equitable, and sustainable for everyone, where the rights of people with disabilities are fully realized. And we're very fortunate today to be joined by Runa Patel, who is a training associate with Microsoft Canada. So thank you, Runa, for joining us today as we celebrate the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. And you, Runa, you're no stranger to education or disabilities. You being a recent grad of York University Psychology and Social Work. You've also attended Georgia Tech and MIT Professional Education with certifications in human-computer interaction and Cloud DevOps. So through many affiliations and community involvements, Runa, you're actively contributing to making a difference in the lives of others and the disability community. And your affiliations include being a board member of Access to Accessibility, a research assistant with OCAD University, where you work on STEM-related accessibility and N.O.A.T projects. You're a board member for the Employment and Education Committee with Alliance for Equity of Blind Canadians. You also host a podcast, Equitable Education. And in the little spare time that you have, I'm not sure exactly where that comes in, but you also enjoy coding, playing audio games and baseball, performing music, volunteering, and potentially most importantly, spending time with your guide dog, Valora. So a huge thank you to you, Runa, for joining us today and welcome. And with that said, I want to hand over the screen sharing and the webinar presentation to you as we begin today.
Thank you, everybody, for allowing me and welcoming me to join this wonderful seminar. I'm really honored to be here today, and a happy International Day for Person with Disability. Today is the 3rd of December, and we are also happy to celebrate the Disability Month. Okay, I'm going to reshare my screen.
It's not coming through as of yet.
Just selecting.
Stop share. You have started screen share alert. Stop share. Live transcription. Closed captioning. Mute. Audio settings. Windows 11. Pane.
So we will today be starting about Windows 11 and
meeting controls row 1 column. Zoom.
What's
pane.
new in Windows 11 in terms of generic features, as well as
Windows 11.
talking
What's new
about
meeting
some of
control
the
audio settings drop down button.
technology and accessibility
Zoom row 1
features
column.
that
Windows
we
11.
can use
What
in
pane.
Windows 11. Currently on my
Windows
device,
11. What's new and overview for administrator. Out of list out of list breadcrumb.
11 device throughout the training session.
Out of list link feedback.
So yeah. Okay, so Windows 11 is built onto.
Runa,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt, but your screen reader is coming through as well on this.
Oh.
Meeting controls row 1 column. Stop video. Alt plus video settings.
Sorry. The beauties of assistive.
I'm going to reshare my screen.
Okay.
All right.
The screen share is not showing. There, it's coming.
All right, I have reshared my screen. Hopefully the sound is not coming through now.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Runa.
Thank you so much, Doug. So Windows 11 is built onto Windows 10 platform. So it is based on a very familiar platform with mild changes. So it will be very easy to get familiar with Windows 10 using, if you're familiar with Windows 10 and changing it to Windows 11. So for Windows 11, we have advanced security options, which protect us from, any threats. And also the devices have security inbuilt along with different applications that we use, as well as identity security by having Windows Hello, which is a feature allowing you to either use your password, face recognition, fingerprint to log in as well. We also have, different type of other security features, such as, firewall, threat protections as well, to make sure that, our account is protected along with our devices and data. Now, other than security, we have also easier access to new services and the services that you already use. So in Windows 11 has Windows 365 desktop operating system, which is a cloud service, and it will allow you to use internet connected devices. Either it could be Android or Mac devices, and you can use a Microsoft 365 Windows version as a virtual machine. So what that means is that, for example, if you have certain applications that you use, you can open the same application and will be able to work on it and resume anything you were doing as well. On Windows 11, Microsoft Teams, especially the personal use, is available on Windows 11. So that way, if you log in with your Microsoft 365 account, you'll be able to host meetings, have calls, video calls, and also work on files and communicate and collaborate, not just with your family, but also your friends as well. So that's inbuilt onto the Microsoft Windows 11 system. Also on Windows 11, you can, you can easily deploy Windows 11 because they have changed the deployment process as well. Along with these features, you also have different applications that are included, like Power Apps, Power Flow as well, OneNote as well. So you have so many applications access so that way you can be very productive. Along with that, you can customize your desktop experience. So what I mean by that is that you can snap different layouts as well on your desktop to make it more organized as well. And it's very visual feature, and it just looks different when you snap different screens. This way you can customize the size of different applications, basically. So it's very visual, and it just makes it look very appealing and easily able to find what an individual is looking for. Along with that, you can also, along on your start menu, you can pin different applications that you normally use. So for example, you have a list of, 10 applications. And out of 10 applications, if you're using 5 applications in your everyday life, you can pin those applications and will be easily able to find it on your start menu. You can pin and unpin the apps that you want. You can also along with your start menu, you can, change different layouts on the start menu. So for example, along with your settings and personalization, you can add different themes as well on the start menu. Also on your taskbar, you can pin commonly used applications. So it makes it very easier for us as a user to find what we're looking for. Along with that, you have option to get notified about all the different changes that are being made on the files you're working on. So example, if you're working on a file on Teams, you will not have to open Teams. You'll get notifications right there stating that somebody has modified this file as well. So it's very convenient way to get the notifications. And you can also customize different feed, like for example, your calendar feed, weather, or anything about stock prices, news, things like that. Also, on Windows 11, you can use the same apps or you can use more apps as well. So what I mean is that you can go on Microsoft Store and log in as well, and we'll be able to use any third-party applications, not just Microsoft 365 applications that you have. So it will be a very convenient for, Android users as well. Also for students, Windows 11 has different education-based apps. Windows 11 SE is specifically designed for students and educators, and it is low-cost solution, and it has essential apps that are generally used for professionals and students. So it's tailored basically just for education as well. So now we will be resharing the screen, and I'll be discussing some of the key accessibility features on Windows 11. So I'm just going to reshare the screen. All right, so I am now sharing my screen again, and we will be moving on to our start menu. So this is what the start menu looks like. You can, instead of using this search bar and then using the down arrow to navigate all the applications as we were used to in Windows 10, you will be pressing on tab and it says pin list, and this is where you'll find list of your pinned applications. Also, if you tab again, it says all apps, and this is where you'll be able to find all the apps you have on your PC. Then you have, recommended list, and this is where you'll find list of recently downloaded applications. All right. So this is what the looks like on the start menu, but you can always customize your start menu. So now in the search bar, we will be searching accessibility. In Windows 10, accessibility is known as ease of access, and in Windows 11, they have changed that feature and called it accessibility. So I'm going to my accessibility setting under the settings option of our Windows 10 PC. Under accessibility, we have different type of settings. So for example, under accessibility, we have vision settings. We also have settings for hearing as well. And we also have settings along with speech as well. So now I will go and discuss each settings for specific features. So for vision, we have text size. So when we change the text size under accessibility, we'll be able to see, different text, and it's like more like changing the font size of different applications. So it will be very easily visible. Then we have visual effects, and with visual effects, we can actually change different type of backgrounds within Windows that make it easier for us to see. So it has animation effects as well as different type of backgrounds that make it transparent. Along with that, we have I'm just moving. And we can also change the display bright lights as well. Along with that, under accessibility, we have mouse pointer and touch, which means we can change the point size of the mouse. So for example, if a low vision individual is using a mouse, they can change the mouse cursor size, which will make it bigger for participants to see as well as themselves. That way it's easier for them to know where they're looking at on the screen. Other than that, we have text cursor. And when we click on the text cursor, we can change the different sides. So we can make it bigger. And we can also change the color size as well. So we have different colors here: purple, yellow, gold, things like that. So we have different colors that we can change our cursor size. And we can also change the thickness of the color size. So what I mean is that it will make it more darker or more lighter. It will make it easier for an individual to see exactly where the cursor is, text cursor especially. So now we will be looking at a different setting under accessibility, and it's going to be Magnifier. So Magnifier is more like using a zoom text basically, but it's inbuilt onto Windows devices. So Magnifier, when you use Magnifier, you'll be able to zoom out or zoom in as well, and you'll be able to change other settings, advanced settings under magnification, either full screen, or you can decide depending on what your preferences are, along with appearances, inverting colors, as well as deciding what type of edges we would like to see, like smooth edges, as well as reading options when using magnifier as well. As well, with different magnifications, we also have options about, changing different monitors as well. So for example, if you're using 2 different monitors and sharing our screen using that monitor, we have option to customize our settings as well so that we can see the monitors and what is being shared through each monitors as well. Now we have color filter as well. So along with color filter, we can, see like keyboard shortcuts for color filtering. So it's going to provide us different colors based on different type of colors that we use. So for it could be transparency effects for colors as well. We can use different themes for our backgrounds as well. So this is more visual way of changing the different settings so that it makes it easier for navigation. And a color filter setting actually is a new feature on Windows 11, and they have added a few different colors here, which weren't there for Windows 10. So it's a great feature, and it is going to help a lot of users. So there are umbrellas, colorful umbrellas, rainbows, things like that. Then we have contrast theme setting. And along with contrast theme, we can change, different type of theme as well, and also pair it up with different colors. That makes it easier for our eyes to see. So there are different themes: aquatic, desert, dust, night sky. There's different themes that we can use, and it's really nice color looking, very calming themes that we can use as well. This just doesn't help people with visual impairment, but I know it helps so many users with different abilities, even members suffering from mental health as well, and neurodiversity. So it's a great feature. Along with accessibility and different features, we have now Narrator. And Narrator is our screen reader built onto Windows 11. It has improved a lot. I know in the past I have heard comments saying it's not that great, but it has gone really well. I have used Narrator on devices, and I'm able to use it personally for every task, like on Google browsing, using emails and typing emails, navigating the PC as well. And Narrator, you can combine like different settings as well of voices so that you can know what's being heard. So for example, maybe one voice is reading the commands and the other voice is reading the notifications, things like that. You can also change the different settings along with Narrator, like for example, using it with Braille display. You can also use Narrator and change the text speed, as well as how you navigate using Narrator, and specifically like making sure that the keys you use are generally set. So for example, if you use caps lock key as your insert key, you can put that into Narrator and it's going to make that change for you. So it's very customizable. And now we will be moving on to the hearing settings. And under hearing, we have audio settings. So under audio, you can flash your screen, and you can also change volume and sound for different applications. And for mono audio, along with audio sound under hearing and accessibility, we have like ways to, make the one earphone talk a bit louder and the other one a bit softer as well. So that way we can hear what's going on around us, and it really is helpful for anybody needing that option. Now, after that, we have captions, which is a captions. And for captioning, once we turn on the captioning, it's going to actually help us turn anything onto caption. So for example, if you're watching a video, it's going to give you the captioning for the video that's being watched as well. So it's a great feature, and it helps a lot of individuals needing that accessibility feature, because captioning is not available in every platform that we use. And also for students, right? And also professionals, this is a great feature, because that way their students are being supported in any way they would like. And you can change different ways of captioning, like white and black, or you can have small caps, large text, or yellow and blue, things like that. So it's very customizable based on an individual's needs. Now we have a speech and keyboard setting. Great. So for speech, we have option to dictate what we would like to write. So when I turn on the dictation, I can simply press Windows and H key, and it's going to dictate what I talk. So writing words into text. So you can use the dictation actually on any Microsoft 365 applications, or even when you're browsing on the network. So if you're using, for example, Teams and you want to chat, you can use dictation by simply pressing Windows and H, and it's going to dictate. Even when dictating your documents on Word, Excel, PowerPoint, even searching on like for example, something on the browser, you can also press Control and H and search any type of search field or edit field. You can use dictation. So it's a great feature as well. Even when you're not using your PC with your, keyboard, you can use the dictation when the PC has been used as a tablet. So it's a great feature as well. Now we will be moving on, and we will be talking about keyboard. So under keyboard, we have filter keys. So we can differentiate what kind of keys we would like to, change the sensitivity. So for example, changing what keys do we press together, as well as, it can ignore like brief pressing of multiple keys, things like that. And also you can play a sound when you're using caps lock or even scrolling through your mouse. You can also use on-screen keyboard, which means it's a keyboard on your screen that you can use to type instead of a normal keyboard. So for example, if you're using a tablet, this would be a great feature to. And also you can underline different type of access keys as well. So it's easier and visible as well. You can also here under this setting, you can use a print screen to, easily split screens and make your windows differentiating visually as well. You can also have like sticky keys here under keyboard setting so that you can differentiate what keys needs to be pressed together, things like that. And you can change different shortcuts based on your preference. So for example, if you are using caps lock as your insert key, and if you would like to make your, maybe the plus sign as your enter key, for example, you can do that as well. So it's very customizable based on your preferences. Now we will be moving on to the mouse, and along with the mouse, we have ways to use our numeric keyboard as a mouse. So we can change what keys we can use as a numeric keyboard. So if we don't have a mouse, we can still move our mouse as a pointer as well. We can change your mouse pointing speed as well. So which means when you're moving your mouse on the screen, how fast it should scroll. Now we will be talking about one of the other cool feature, and it is along with mouse, eye control. So what eye control is actually a way for any individual to use the entire device and do everything without having access to mouse as well as keyboard. So for example, anybody needing extra accessibility feature where they cannot type or they cannot dictate, this will be a great feature for them. So for eye control, there will be another device that will be used with this feature, and you can simply pair up the device and you can use the device in a way along with this accessibility feature, so that when you are controlling your device, you're simply looking at the different icons. So for example, if I want to click on the icon to open, for example, a Word document, I'm simply going to look at the icon and it's going to open it for me. So I can use the device along with this accessibility feature and do everything that I cannot do using a mouse and a keyboard. So it's a great feature to have as well for anybody who is able to use the device without any keyboard or mouse. You can also use the eye control feature, not just to simply, click on the icons, but you can use it enough so that way you can operate the entire device. Now we will be moving on to our personal assistant Cortana, which is inbuilt onto our Windows 11. And I will be resharing my screen along with audio sounds.
More options for participants drop down button. Live transcription.
Along with the system sound, so
Start
you'll
window.
be able to hear my screen reader.
See. Cortana.
And
app.
I am
Press right
typing
to
Cortana here.
Participants can now see your screen alert. Cortana
So,
window. Voice input button Alt. M.
What is Cortana? So Cortana is our personal assistant and it can help us with anything. So for example, you would like to set a reminder, you can use Cortana. If you would like to, see how the weather is, you can do that as well. So Cortana gets used to type of requests you make, and it will suggest you different options that you can do with Cortana. So Cortana actually is also inbuilt onto Microsoft 365. So you can also play your messages using Cortana on your email as well. Cortana is also available on Microsoft Teams, especially the mobile version. And instead of using your, touch gestures while navigating team, you can simply say, hey Cortana, what's my next meeting? So you can use Cortana that
Nylander
way
has left
as
the meeting.
well. On our PC, you can use Cortana by either typing a message or even, asking it through voice. And it's going to give you input as well.
Open menu button
So,
Alt. E. List. Cortana's message. I can help with facts.
We'll be able
Try something. Type to Cortana edit Alt. T blank.
We're going to type
Space.
here for Cortana.
Send input button Alt. Type to Cortana edit Alt. T blank.
Space. And I'm going to type
space.
What is the weather today in Toronto.
User message received. Cortana message received.
And blank. We see the Cortana reply.
What is the weather today in Toronto? Send input button Alt. S. Open menu button Alt.
All right. So now we
Send
will
input.
be using
Type to Cortana list. Open in Bing for more information on what.
Way to communicate.
Open
with
in Bing
Cortana.
for more information. Open in Bing for more.
And here you can search anything on Cortana, and it's going to get you the result using the Bing search
Open in Bing for more information on what is the. Open in Bing. Type to send input button. Open menu button Alt. E. Space. List. Cortana's message. Search Bing for more. Open in Bing for more information on what is the. Type to Cortana. Send input button Alt. S.
So now we will be typing
M. Open menu button Alt. E. Sign out Runa Patel at Microsoft.
One sec.
About Alt. Sign out Runa Patel. Open menu button. List. Cortana's message. Search Bing. Open in Bing for more information. Open in Bing for more. Type to Cort. Voice input button Alt. M. Space. Type to Cortana
hey,
edit
Cortana,
Alt.
what can you help me with?
User message received.
Sorry,
Cortana message
I don't
received.
know the answer to this one, but I'm learning.
List. Type to Cortana edit Alt. Voice input button Alt. Space. Type to Cortana edit Alt.
What can you help me with?
I can
Cortana
help
message
with finance. Try something like how is Microsoft stock doing?
List. Type to Cortana edit Alt. Voice input button. Space. Type to Cortana edit Alt.
What's the weather like today in Toronto?
User message received. Cortana
The
message received.
forecast in Toronto, Ontario shows cloudy skies with a high of 2 degrees and a low of -1 degree. Right now, it's partly sunny and 2 degrees.
For Cortana, actually, if you have a meeting set and if you have a location to go to, you can always turn on the location for Cortana. And once you actually input on your calendar that you have a meeting coming up and this is the location, and if you set a reminder on Cortana, actually, it's going to provide you notification considering different factors, even the traffic, to let you know, hey, you should leave by this time to get to this location at this time that you have set to be able to attend your meeting on
Lacey
time.
Satterfield has left.
So it's a great way for us to use our personal assistant to get a lot of work done that we generally spend a lot of time just
Voice input.
organizing it.
Open menu button
All
Alt
right.
E.
So that's a
List.
Cortana,
Cortana's message. Search. Open in Bing. Open in
and
Bing.
I'm going to
Meeting
reshare
controls
my
row 1.
screen.
Volume level 47.
All right. So now I have stopped resharing my screen. And I would like to open up the floor for any questions. But before I open up the floor, actually Windows 11 is out already. So you have option to update your device and get the updated version as well. Um, yeah, so make sure that you use the new systems that we have and utilize all the new features to make most use of it and to be productive. Now I would like to open up the floor and see if there are any questions.
Great, thank you very much, Runa. That's a lot of information to have gone over, and bringing us the overview of all of the new accessibility features. Some of them are obviously showing through as continuations from Windows 10. There's some new stuff in there that looks pretty exciting as well, and I'm sure that there's people in our audience here today that do have some questions specific to some of those that hopefully you can answer. And that, so I do want to ask people to put their questions into the chat. And if you would prefer to ask your questions by voice and instead of by chat, then please do raise your hand or sorry, can't speak, it's Friday, and or unmute your microphone, and we'll get to you by voice as well. So Runa, I do have two questions that are in the chat so far. One came to me privately, and it's Robin is asking for regards to the voice commands for things such as delete, bold, capitalize, etc. Within dictation options in Windows 11, that they were quite finicky in Windows 10, along with a lot of the voice control and voice dictation in Windows 10. And Robin is wondering, what does that look like in Windows 11? Does it work better?
Yes, so for Windows 11, they have done a lot of improvement on dictation, and dictation actually is not called as a dictation, it's called as a text to speech. And it does have a lot of punctuations that you can now use. So for example, when you're dictating, simply just say hello, exclamation mark, how is it going, question mark, and it's going to write it for you. And they're not just common punctuations that have been added, like comma and things like that, but there are so many more, like asterisks and pound sign and so many of those uncommon um, uh, uncommon punctuations that we don't use, those ones are also being added. So it makes it more efficient for anybody, no matter it's an individual using text to speech for their everyday use, or even maybe somebody who's coding and they need to use some of the features of punctuations, they can use that as well. So it's a wonderful, and they have done a lot of improvement. Feel free to check it out in your free time. And if you have any feedback in any point for our Windows team, feel free to use the search under search. If you search like feedback, you will be able to see something come up, and you'll be able to simply send the feedback to our engineering team. If you have any feedback, they'll be more than happy to review it as well.
Okay, thank you. I hear you saying that there have been a lot of improvements overall to the recognition and the accuracy, as well as what's been included with the dictation features in Windows 11 versus what we found in Windows 10. as assistive technologists and working with those with disabilities, we see what doesn't work quite often, and it's difficult to we're always giving feedback and hoping that the improvements will be there. So it sounds like Windows 11 is certainly has some promise there for the dictation features, which is great news. Just on that note, I was curious while you were going through the presentation and talking about the dictation features, Runa, are you aware, what you mentioned that the dictation was able to be done in, and you gave examples of Microsoft products primarily. Is the dictation in Windows 11 across the entire computer, or is it
Yes.
only?
No, it's across the computer actually. So even if you're searching something on Microsoft Edge, you can still use dictation as well. So any edit field that you're working with, you can use dictation.
Okay, perfect. So it's not just
You
the
can
Office
even
products.
dictate your messages on Outlook, on type entire document on Word as well. And there is also dictation you can use while you're navigating your PC as well, sometimes in some of the tasks.
Okay, perfect. All right, thanks for filling in that extra information there, Runa. And I'm curious. I'm curious myself to see if we can finally use dictation into OneNote, but that's a side point. Okay, we've got a question that came in from Doug, the other Doug. Doug is asking what are whether there's basically, I think basically a list comparing what the commands or what the options are and features that were available in Windows 10 versus the new ones, if I'm understanding your question correctly, Doug. So is
I
there
can
a comparison
send.
list?
I have the list, but it's not a comparison list because it's not comparing, but I do have a list of new features that you can definitely check it out. Um, Give me one sec. I'm gonna paste the link.
Okay, perfect. That's great. So
Yeah, but while I do that, feel free to
okay.
ask any other questions that may have.
Okay, perfect. Just following along with Wink has asked two questions. First of all, is there any other option for the operating system, such as is the operating system and all the software now only Microsoft 365 cloud-based? And
Sorry,
sure
I missed the question.
Yeah, Wink, actually, are you able to unmute and ask that? I think you can phrase it or word it with a little more wording. It can be asked a lot better than I'm reading it.
There are some concerns about whether or not the operating system is based only in the cloud.
It's not based only in the cloud, it has the flexibility. So you can use it without using the cloud, but you also have the option to use it as a cloud. So for example, if you're using multiple devices, right? So for example, I have like 2 personal devices. So I can use the cloud feature to sync all my information, my apps, right? And it really helps with hybrid work as well, because so many of us are now working hybrid, and it's a way for us to easily communicate and collaborate with people no matter where they are, and also to make sure that we are using our PC productively to get the work done with the members that are even away from us.
I have a follow-up question to that. Is there a file size limitation to
No,
cloud
there is
storage?
no file size limitation. No.
Okay, great. Thanks for asking those questions with a lot more clarity than I was giving them, Wink. I appreciate that. And you had a follow-up question here in regards to just that there are a number of known assistive tech software bugs with Microsoft 365, and you were curious as to whether they have been remedied with an example of Dragon, naturally speaking. Are you aware of any information about that, Runa?
About Dragon, actually speaking, I know what the software is, but I haven't really explored the Dragon naturally enough to know what the specific bugs are. So I probably won't be able to find this, know this answer, but I can find it out for you.
Okay. All right. Wink, did you, for Runa's investigation there, did you want to add anything additional to what's been said?
I don't have like the populated list in my head this morning about there's other assistive technology applications that don't work or don't work well in Microsoft 365. So my concern is that if we move forward and this is more of a global application for us, and Microsoft is promoting the use of 365 as the avenue, that we're very careful to make sure that the assistive technology we use on a daily basis, not only us, but our students, that we're not providing more barricades than we are opening the doors. And I apologize because I can't remember the list of all of the other softwares that don't work well or don't work at all.
Yeah, I was going to ask what are the software that doesn't really work with M365? Because that would be a great way for us to know. But most of the software that are supported by Windows and M365 are accessible, and they have option to use it either on the web, on a mobile app, on PC app, so you can use it no matter where you are. Um, I'm not sure about what software that you're referring to that are not compatible. So sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Wink, if you're able to forward that, I do have Runa's contact information, and I'm certain that it can be funneled through to the appropriate channels in Microsoft. To say the least, I think Runa is well connected, and can put that in the right hands of people that might be able to give us more details and or even take some action on it. And thank you, Runa. I just noticed that for those who might not be monitoring the chat, that the link regarding the what's new in Windows 11 and such is in there, and and Wink did say in the chat as well that some research will be conducted, and Wink will let us know. So thank you. All right, I lost my place a little bit in the chat here. So just while I reorient myself, if anybody has anything else to add into the chat, please continue to do so. And as well to unmute yourself if there's any questions to ask that you'd rather ask by voice. And there's a comment in here from Ted regarding that he's happy that the change of the label from to accessibility instead of ease of access. So I think a small change like that is going to make a large difference to a lot of us, as much as he's stating there. So, and Robin is curious on hardware recommendations for eye gaze, such as Tobii, the Tobii Dynavox type equipment. And there was a note here from Clark that Clark has been using Tobii Eye Tracker 4C with eye tracking in Windows 11, and it works great so far. So in addition to what Clark has responded, Runa, do you have any direct experience with equipment recommendations for the eye tracking?
The PC, do you mean? Or the equipment in like the specific equipment?
I'm not, Robin, if you can maybe clarify, because that's a good question as to, I think, Robin, you might be talking more about the manufacturer end of specific, the Tobii and or other eye gaze controls versus the actual specifications of the Windows computer.
So the eye tracker that is being used with Windows 11 or Windows 10 is specifically made for this feature. So Yeah, so when you do really suggest that you would like to use eye tracker, um, there, there is option to get the eye tracker, but I don't think there are different type of eye trackers that support, or what different type of eye trackers are there that support. Um, I do have received the eye tracker when I did request, but I'm just not sure exactly what type of different eye trackers you're referring to at this point.
Okay. All right. So need a little bit more information there. If any is available, Robin, feel free to add it in as we go through, or unmute and ask.
Yeah, and
And
I would love to know what the eye tracker are you using, how if that's working for you. Have you tried any other? So yeah.
okay. And Clark, if you have anything to add as well regards to the to what the comment that you made there, feel free as well to contribute further. And there's a question here regarding the slider bar on the side of the windows. They've been slimmed down, something that we all wish we could just have a programmer slim us down, but it's making it difficult for us to navigate to those slider bars and access and work with them. So is there a way that we can make them wider without using the magnifier feature?
So slider bar on the side, it's very visual. And I think if you go under accessibility setting, you will be able to change the like the different icons, right? The size of the icon, and also you have option to um change the text size of different things on the screen. So those type of accessibility features may be able to um, help to solve this.
Okay, great. So thanks for pointing us in the direction of those options there, Runa. And also hearing from what you just said is that there are now options to make other elements on the screen, adjust the appearance of the other elements on the screen, which at some points it was frustrating that we couldn't do without actually using a magnifier, for instance, menu bars and that. So hopefully some of those options are now under there as well. And I'm just noticing that there was a comment in here from Robin, just further adding that hasn't tried any others, but that Clark's comment was very helpful. So again, thank you, Clark, for that. And Clark, if you have anything to share about your particular experience there that you want to unmute, by all means, happy to have that additional information. And
Yeah, and there's a one comment here in the chat that says there's an article that states different type of PC that are compatible. So currently we do have a Surface family, and our Surface family actually has different PCs that you can use as a tablet, or it could be tablet slash laptop, even laptop. So one cool thing I find with PCs actually that I haven't seen in other products is that no matter what screen reader you use, I'm a screen reader user. So no matter what screen reader you use, could be JAWS, Narrator, NVDA, when you use the tablet, um, because some tablets are detachable, it's still very compatible with the screen reader. So that's one of the great feature. Um, as well, if a student is moving around and in class taking notes, they can always just get use the use it as a tablet as well. Yeah,
okay, great.
and there is a
And
pen too, so they can use the pen to write on the tablet as well.
And I know I had noticed that comment from Chris. Thank you, Chris, for that article that Runa was just referring to. It's in the chat, and these resources, these links and such that we're gathering here as part of the webinar, they'll be posted on the replay page. So if anybody's not able to get them out of the chat or loses where they are, they'll be available there as well. Or those who are watching the replay will be able to get them from the resource page. There's a comment or a comment and question here from, I think it's from Maris, is asking, what is the future integration of Dragon and Microsoft products and the operating system? That's, I was waiting for that one to come up, so thank you for asking. Runa, do you have any inside
Yes,
information
so
on Dragon?
on Dragon specifically, no, but I know that dictation feature is available on Microsoft 365. So if you use Outlook, you use Word, Excel, PowerPoint, um, I think even OneNote might have it too, depending on what OneNote you're using, either 16 or because there are different versions. And you can use dictation as well. But I'm not really sure about Dragon naturally speaking at this point.
Okay. I think Maris, along with a lot of the rest of us, were hoping you might have come to the session today with some unknown or hidden
Yeah, but
updates that,
also like
about their merger.
you know, Microsoft has a education version as well. So maybe the education version of Windows or 365 education may have different features. So different products, different solutions, depending on what is being used, may have different additional features available.
Very true. There are different versions out there that some of us may not even have access to, and they do have different features. And yeah, with the recent purchase, Microsoft purchasing Nuance, which is the manufacturer of Dragon Professional Individual, or Dragon Naturally Speaking, as some of us know it by, I think we're hoping as assistive technologists to see some positive development with that technology now being in-house with Microsoft. And I think Maris was the brave one to ask the question for all of us as to whether you knew any inside information as to what the roadmap looked like for that recent acquisition. But unfortunately, we're all left still kind of crossing our fingers and hoping for our wish list to be fulfilled there. So, and okay, I'm not seeing any other questions or comments other than a lot of thank yous. I know some people had to leave us at the top of the hour, so to speak. But if there's anyone who does have further questions or comments, please do enter them into the chat and or unmute yourself and ask by voice, as we're kind of coming to a close towards the end of the session here. And what is, just going to put you on the spot, Runa, what's your, you've obviously been using the accessibility features as an employee of Microsoft and as an actual, an end user in Windows 10 and now in Windows 11. What's your, what is your favorite advancement or improvement that you would like to make sure we all know?
Well, I really love the dictate feature because when I'm typing emails, I can easily dictate it. And then I also love the PowerPoint because it provides closed captioning as well as, you know, practice students can practice their presentation with a PowerPoint coach assistant before their presentation. So it provides actually the feedback about, you know, how well they're doing and what needs to be improved. I really love that as well. And on Teams, actually, I use Teams every day. It's like part of my life. And the fact I love is that it's available on different platforms, and I can use other than, you know, keyboard navigations, I can also use Cortana on Teams. So I love some of the features that are out there.
So it sounds definitely like a lot of your accolades are based in the integration of a lot of these different things across the platform, instead of them being separate features that that might not have been universally available up till now. So,
Yes,
okay.
that's right.
All right, perfect. Oh, Colin has just put into the chat here. Thanks for showing these features and the exciting development for the operating system. And is loving the rename to accessibility and looking forward to trying the features, see the improvements of the software and of all the different things that we love to use inside Windows. So I think that's a great sentiment. In summary, Colin, thank you for sharing that. And just before we do kind of finally wrap up here, I just want one more opportunity. If anybody has any questions to add into the chat or to unmute and ask their questions by voice. And Runa, you spoke to the heart of one of our members that is here today, Lyle, who is thoroughly overjoyed with the Microsoft PowerPoint presentation rehearsal tools. And I know Lyle's sitting there smiling in the background. So I think we're going to end up having to have Microsoft back, maybe yourself and or some colleagues, and have a look through all of the different pieces of software that we'll be able to, from an accessibility perspective, and things that are either specific to the accessibility needs of the end user, or things like that presentation rehearsal tool that can actually be used to support a person with a disability, whereas it's not necessarily designed specifically for that. So that's great. I'm not seeing any other questions, and I'm not seeing any unmuted microphones. So I do want to bring us to a close here. And one thing that I picked up on while you were doing your presentation there, Runa, is that we can finally turn things into dust at a click of a mouse, although it's only through the contrast themes setting. So just something that we can now finally say, us assistive technologists, at the click of a mouse, we can turn things to dust.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. And our workplace is changing. The way we work and the tools that we utilize definitely is going to change as we, change how we work, because the pandemic has actually, made us understand that hybrid work, hybrid learning is changing, right? So we need tools that meet all of our needs.
very true, very true. And all of our needs is a very, very wide open statement, and especially with the changing needs of our population and the changing needs of the remote work environment. There's no truer words. So just as we do come to a close here, Runa, and wrap up, I want to thank you very, very much for sharing with us today and going through all of the features there, taking us through and answering our questions, and providing your contact information so that if any of the attendees or those watching the replay are looking to get in touch with you to ask further questions, clarification. You mentioned using the feedback feature in the Windows 11 operating system, as well as the various individual products. At the same time, as if there's something that we're struggling with, finding the right person to talk to, being able to reach out to you and have you help guide us. So that's a wonderful opportunity. You've brought lots of information to us today, and that information, it's no doubt, it's going to further assist each of us as we better serve those that we support and all the various communities that we're part of, and the types of clients that we support in the assistive technology profession. So again, Runa, thanks for sharing with us today. Your continued
Thank you
support of the
so much.
yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here. And
Okay.
happy International Disability Day.
Exactly. Took those words right out of my mouth, but your continued support through all of your extracurricular activities, the work you do at Microsoft, and supporting the assistive technologists here through sessions like today, with the network of assistive technologists. It's so greatly appreciated, and we look forward to keeping the assistive technology community as a whole up to date with Microsoft, Windows, and all of the different offerings. And we're hoping that you can be part of that continued dialogue, and your colleagues at Microsoft as well. So please do stay in touch with us, as we will with you. And any final comments or thoughts just before we end here, Runa?
No, I'm glad. I'm glad to be here. I hope you all have a great day and feel free to reach out if there are any questions, any, anything that I can support you with. I'll be more than happy. I'll share my email in the chat. So again, it's runa.patel@microsoft.com. So feel free to reach out either, through my email or LinkedIn is completely fine. And I'll be more than happy to support any way I can. Yes, so I'm so happy to see so many members here, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much for your time. We really
Perfect.
appreciate it.
Yes, and I do thank everybody for their attendance today. It was a sold out event. We have a limit of 100 on our webinars, Runa. We had 96 people register, and I had to cap it because there's always the few last minute people that we have to sneak in, and so I had to cap it at the 96. We had over 50 show up at the height of today's event live, and I know that the remainder, you can never plan for that and budget it ahead of time, so you have to play it safe, but I know that the rest will be looking at the replay of this, so that's wonderful. So lastly, for everyone that is here today and those watching the replay, thank you for joining us. And remember, you can't spell education without AT.